before Critic, I really felt like I was kind of handcuffed to auto-graded multiple choice or fill-in-the-blank homework assignments and exams. That was pretty much the entire grade, which isn't great. There is a place for multiple choice exams and assignments, but having the whole class, the assessment based on that is difficult. But I mean, what do you do when you have hundreds or over 1,000 students? There wasn't really many options in the past, even though there's many barriers to doing higher order assessments or non-multiple choice auto-graded activities. Even though it's tough to do in large classes, it's still just as important as it is in smaller classes. So first I'll start by how to run peer assessment in a large course, kind of tips and suggestions. So the first suggestion would be to make sure, the importance of clarity. So make sure you explain the peer assessment activity thoroughly and using very effective instructions. And including that, I would recommend making a sample video to show kind of students, give them an idea of, or if it's a writing assignment, make a sample writing assignment, just so they know this is an example of a well done video or essay. The other key thing, and Critic does a lot to help instructors here, is to develop easy to understand rubrics. It's really important that your rubrics, students can easily understand them, because they're going to use those rubrics. That'll influence how they make their essay or video or whatever the assessment is. And the rubrics are also how students are going to grade their peers. And a lot of them, large courses now for the last couple of years, at first it was more writing activities, but now I do these video activities. So I assign students a video. If you're familiar with economics, the first two assignments were on comparative advantage and trade. So they have to demonstrate or explain the concept of opportunity cost and comparative advantage and trade. And then usually I always attach a real world example. They have to go out and get a real world example. The other one was tied to kind of supply and demand model. So they had to explain the concept of the supply curve and then find a real world example that would shift that curve. So that's kind of the setup there. And I guess not to complicate it, but in case someone is curious, so I allow AI in these assignments as well. I tell students they can use ChatGPT or other AI assignments, and I actually save them the trouble. So I'll copy and paste my video question into ChatGPT and then, embed that PDF so they can look at that. I allow that. So I find these video assignments, even when I give them ChatGPT's response and allow them to use it, it's still a really rich learning assignment. They still have to use course concepts, demonstrate course concepts to get a good grade. So one nice thing, I do 5 video activities over the semester. I used to do essays. I know others have done a lot of different things, but it's great because you can really pick, 5 or 10 key things from your course, important course objectives or course learning goals, and you can really emphasize them with an assignment like this. By forcing them to do a video or write an essay, it really kind of encourages them to focus on that concept. So you'll know when they're finished a course, there's a good chance they retain that concept or that key takeaway. And like I mentioned earlier, it's important to kind of sell it to your students, justify to students why they have to get outside their comfort zone and engage in peer assessment and do a higher order learning assignment like videos or writing. The spiel I kind of use in my class is I tell my current students, that I don't think my current students are my customers. I believe my customers are my current students 10 years in the future when they've started their career and they're in their career. So I use that to kind of emphasize why I think soft skills are important. And you can get a lot of data and surveys just showing how, from employers or hiring managers, how important soft skills are in today's workforce, to explain or justify why you're pushing them to learn how to public speak in a video setting or communicate or learn how to be an effective evaluator.